Hello everyone, welcome back.
AITAH for going to eat at a hospital cafeteria roughly once a week? My sister and family are telling me it's wrong. Original post April 25, 2024. Okay, hear me out. I work just a few blocks away from a hospital and get there pretty quickly by bicycle. Their cafeteria is quaint with good prices. So, usually once a week or so, I'll go there for lunch. The food isn't what I would call amazing, but they have a nice variety from time to time. The staff even recognize me and are always pleasant. They don't mind that I'm just there for lunch. And it's far quieter eating there than at any local restaurant. I'm on the spectrum and don't like loud noises, so the quiet lunches in this place are a godsend for me some days. Recently, my sister found out I've been eating at the hospital and went off on me over how hospital cafeterias are only supposed to be there for people who are at the hospital because they need to be. I retorted that I was giving them business, and it's not like I was taking food out of the mouths of patients. And I only went once a week, so what was the big deal? But she still insisted I was wrong. Then she got our parents involved, and they're siding with her. They are telling me I should only be eating at the hospital if I had an actual reason to be there. I told them they were all crazy and it was just normal food that I was paying for. But now, because neither they nor I are backing down, I'm torn. AITAH for going to eat lunch in a hospital cafeteria once a week just because I work nearby. Edit, thank you for all the comments. I will make this a hill to sit on if I have to now. Update, May 13, 2024. I really apologize for the length of this post, but writing down all the details took way longer than I thought. And this situation was downright crazy. I never thought my sister would do something like this. Not too long ago, I, 23 meters, posted in r/AITAH for advice because my parents and sister were angry at me for regularly eating in a hospital cafeteria because it's close to my work. I enjoy the peace and quiet there on the days I do show up to eat. But this situation escalated so radically that I can't believe something so dumb actually happened. My sister did the pettiest thing she's ever done to me, and for completely undeserved reasons too. When my sister found out I was eating at the hospital cafeteria, she went off on me over how that food is just for people who are at the hospital because they need to be. We ended up in a big argument about it in which I told her it wasn't like I was taking food from the mouths of patients. Then she went to our parents to get them on her side, like always. And they immediately sided with her, just like I thought they would. They backed her up on how the hospital cafeteria was not a place to go eating casually. And we had a big argument. They spent days hounding me and telling me I was wrong, demanding I stop. So I went to Reddit. And here I learned that not only was I not doing anything wrong, but it's a very common thing for people to go eat at hospital cafeterias just because they like it. I hoped the situation would just fade away. But a few days later, my sister called me asking if I had stopped eating at the hospital. I said no, and then it started all over again. My parents then called me, fuming and acting like I was supposed to stop going because they said so. I reminded them that I don't live under their roof anymore, and this is exactly the kind of reason why I moved out. They take my sister's side in almost everything. They huffed and puffed about it. This time the fight didn't stay at home though. Other relatives found out because my sister tried to broaden her support. She was so dead set on enforcing her will upon me that she went looking for help from other relatives. But our parents were the only ones on her side. And my uncle personally admonished my parents and her over the phone for it once I told him what actually happened. He told them they were only siding with my sister because she's their favorite and they're terrible parents forever playing favorites to begin with. Then, my cousin went to eat with me at that hospital cafeteria and said he'd like to go there once a week too, as he also works nearby and bicycles everywhere. We've run into each other at lunch there once already since then. He was actually rather pleased to find out the food was made healthier than most other places. He's a bit of a picky eater, so this place is kinda like his new lunch hangout. And my sister got even angrier after finding out there were other people in the family eating at the hospital now too. Once outed, my parents backed down due to embarrassment. They apologized to me and gave me some malarkey that they honestly thought eating at a hospital was weird and that they felt like they just needed to defend my sister. I told them they'd been placating my sister for so long that it's all they do whenever she starts something with anyone. She's been treating me like a condescending control freak and a bully since we were teenagers, even though I'm older. And they just kept enabling that. But I won't put up with it anymore. My parents ended up conceding and apologized. Then they made my sister apologize to me too. And I could tell she hated every second of it because she tried to speak through her teeth at first. Later on, my parents invited me to dinner as another form of apology, but it felt more like a show to look good to the rest of the family because they told everyone about it before it even happened. The dinner was great, I can't deny. My parents had cooked a turkey, arguably one of my favorite things to eat. I love the drumsticks slathered with gravy. Yeah, I'm kinda a pig when I eat them, but I can't help it. My sister always thought it hilarious and was one of the few things I didn't mind her laughing about. So, I thought nothing of why she was so giggly at dinner. So, the dinner was going smoothly, and I figured things had finally cooled off. My sister kept giggling during the meal, but I assumed it was just her being amused at how messy I got eating turkey legs. Little did I know, her laughter wasn't about my eating at all. The very next day, I went to the hospital cafeteria for lunch as usual. When I walked in, the cashier and a few regulars looked at me funny. I figured maybe I had something on my face or shirt, so I brushed it off and went to grab my food. But as I was paying, the cashier said, "Back for another freebie, huh?" Confused, I asked what she meant. She explained that someone claiming to be my sister had called the hospital administration to report that I was taking advantage of the cafeteria by eating there without paying. She had apparently spun a wild story about me sneaking in food from outside and pretending it was theirs, taking up space meant for actual patients and their families. I was stunned. The staff had known me for months and vouched that I always paid for my meals, but the call had caused enough of a stir that the cafeteria manager came out to speak to me. I had to awkwardly explain that my sister had been upset with me for eating there and must have made the call out of spite. The manager believed me, but it was humiliating to have to clear my name over something so petty. After lunch, I called my sister to confront her. At first, she denied it, but when I pressed her, she laughed and said, "Well, maybe if you stopped eating there like a weirdo, this wouldn't have happened." That was it. I was done. I told her off in no uncertain terms and said that if she ever pulled something like this again, I would cut her out of my life entirely. I also told my parents what she had done, and while they were shocked, they tried to downplay it, saying, "She probably didn't mean for it to go that far." I told them that if they didn't start holding her accountable, I would go low contact with them too. To make things worse, a few days later, I found out my sister had been telling people at her workplace that I was cheap and mooching off a hospital. A mutual friend tipped me off, and I was furious. I decided to go nuclear. The fallout. I sent an email to my sister's workplace HR department, attaching screenshots of her messages where she admitted to making the call and bragged about embarrassing me. I explained that she had been harassing me over a personal choice and spreading false rumors about me. I didn't ask for her to get fired, I just wanted her to be held accountable. HR called her in for a meeting, and from what I heard, she got a formal warning. This apparently scared her enough to finally back off. She called me crying, saying I had ruined her life and that I was taking things too far. I told her she had brought it on herself by being vindictive and that I was done playing nice. As of now, my parents are mad at me for involving her workplace, but I honestly don't care. They coddled her for years, and this is the result. My sister has since stopped harassing me, and I've resumed my peaceful lunches at the hospital cafeteria without any issues. Final thoughts. I've realized that standing up for myself is something I should have done a long time ago. My sister's behavior was unacceptable, and my parents' enabling only made it worse. While things are still tense between us, I'm happier knowing I didn't let her walk all over me. And to everyone who told me I wasn't the for eating at the hospital cafeteria, thank you. You gave me the confidence to stick to my guns and not let my sister's pettiness ruin something I enjoy. TLDR. My sister escalated a petty argument about me eating at a hospital cafeteria to an insane level, but I stood my ground and made her face the consequences of her actions.
That's it for now. See you in the next post.